Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here with Briggs Motorsports. And today, we're going to talk about the Project RX-7 once again. So last week, you guys seen me clean up the interior. We restored the trim, we got it cleaned up, everything's looking good now. A couple of the trim pieces actually did come in. I'm not going to reveal those until we do the reinstall on the interior. But today, we're here to talk about the body of the RX-7 itself. So today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do body work on your RX-7. So I've already taken some time to examine the panels. We actually have a few door dings here on the door, as well as some discoloration heading onto the back. And for those of you who did get a chance to check out the intro to the RX-7, you also did see that we did have a pretty dirty engine bay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by power washing everything, getting a fresh panel, so that way we can go ahead and get to these door dings here. So I know a couple people are wondering, what is he going to do about the windows, right? Well, what I'm going to end up doing is actually putting up a sheet of plastic, so that way we don't get anything in the inside as far as water for when we do start the power washing procedure, and from sanding down, so we're not getting any debris on the inside, especially with our trim and our carpet being pretty much close to new. So off camera earlier, what we did is we actually went ahead and took the tail lights out, and as you guys can see, I mean, it's pretty much confirmed that this car was left sitting outside. So you do see how much dirt is just caked up over time underneath these headlights here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hand wash that. And just to kind of go over how I got the tail lights out, it's actually pretty easy. You do have trim panels that are actually held in by screws, and you're going to take off four 10 millimeter nuts there, and that's going to take up the high mount. And as for the passenger and the driver side, what you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to slide these out. A lot of people make that mistake of snapping these off, and these are what hold them in, so you don't want to break those. I don't even know if they make those at Mazda anymore. I'm pretty sure that they do, but if they don't, then that's definitely something you're not going to want to mess up there. So just be sure to slide them out. Passenger side slides out this way, driver side slides out that way. So guys, and we're back. We got her all pressure washed, and she's looking 10 times better than she was before. I mean, especially once we head on around to the back here. There's no dirt. That little residue from the seal on the inside there. Other than that, I mean, she's pretty much cleaned up and ready to go for the body work. So first things first, when it comes to looking for any door dings or anything that you have to do body work related, what I like to do is I like to take a Sharpie, and trust me, you're going to be sanding this off anyway, so it's not going to hurt the car. I like to take a Sharpie, and I like to make circles around any dents or dings that I see. It's because with certain colors, it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be hard to see these dents unless you're looking at them at an angle. So if you circle them, you actually have a better idea of how to go about your body work and where you're going to be laying your filler sanded down. So I'm going to finish circling these here. So I already did the passenger side earlier off camera, but for the driver's side, I don't know if you guys can see all the circles that we did make here. Those are just indications of small dings, and that's all this car really had. It didn't have any major issues with the body itself, as far as needing a frame pulled or no quarter panels were smashed in or anything like that. Just a couple door dings. And then up top here we have kind of some dents or dings there. I don't know what that's from, but that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna be either taking these, some of them I'm gonna be using putty, some of them I'm gonna be using Bondo, just to fill them in. So we're gonna get started on that next. Cool, so now that we have everything circled off, you guys have identified your dings or your dents, it's now time for me to give you guys a list of tools that might actually help you do the job. A dual action sander, a die grinder, an air blow tool, a decent sized can of Bondo or body filler, and glazing putty to finish it off. So I'm not gonna sit here and do some crazy tutorial on how to do body work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a time-lapse video of me doing it with the tools I just mentioned. So let's get started on that. So first steps first is what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take our die grinder and we're gonna take one of the dents here. I'm gonna actually try to pick out the deepest one, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that to bare metal. So as you can see here, I did 2 examples. And as you can see, the dent or the door ding is gonna expose itself here, so you'll know how to fill that in. What we're actually gonna do now is we're gonna take either a 120 grit or a 180 grit, feather the edges here. So that way, when we do apply the Bondo or the putty, it's actually gonna set in nice and we won't have that hard edge there. So as you can see, I took the 180 grit and feathered the edges. That is how we feather the edges there. We don't have that rough lip on the end. So that way when we do apply the body filler, it's gonna just go on smooth. And we did the same for the other here. Same deal. Just feather the edges, and now we're ready to apply the Bondo or the body filler or the putty. Alright, so when you're mixing up your body filler, you want to make sure that you at least have a decent amount, so that way you can cover both jobs if you are doing multiple jobs at once, like we're doing here on the RX-7. You want to make sure that you have a smooth palette as well as a spreader and a decent amount of hardener. The colder it is, the more hardener you're going to need. The hotter it is, the less hardener you're going to need. So figured this was a good amount, just putting it right there in the middle. What we're going to do is we're just going to spread it here. Make sure we spread it nice and even. Make sure there's no air pockets, so that way you don't have any bubbles or pinholes in your body filler. And once you get it to a nice even color, you're then going to apply it to the surface. So in this case, we got a nice even pink color here. And then we just take it. You're gonna wanna go smooth over the surface. Make sure you get it nice and flat. The same for the other. And like that, you have it filled. And for those of you who are doing your own body work, and this is just for those of you who don't know, the hardener that you mix in with the body filler does dictate your dry time. So we did mix in a small amount of hardener, probably not as much as we should have, but the dry time on this shouldn't be long at all. It's already starting to dry here. You'll be able to figure out how dry it is by touch as well. So just give it some time to dry, and then we'll go about our sanding, and I'll show you guys the sanding technique there. So now that we have our body filler applied, what we're going to do is we're going to take our DA sander here, and we're going to take 180 grit and feather out the edges until we pretty much scrunch to the middle of where the ding or the dent is. And then we're gonna smooth that out there, so that way we have a smooth texture finish across the surface here. And as you can see, we now have that hole filled. It is smooth. Just a couple of things on that. Typically you would take a block and you would go in a diagonal sanding motion. I personally like to use a DA, even though the sanding area is bigger than the actual repair area. I mean, it's just personal preference. This doesn't make too much of a difference. It's not uneven or anything like that with the surface. But now it's time to move on to this one here. And then we still have a bunch more to go. I don't know if you guys can see. I do have those circled there. So I will be putting you guys on a time lapse, getting that done. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, guys. And also you're going to need a respirator as well. Any of the work I just did, I didn't do it without a respirator. So that's actually the first thing I did. I should have told you guys. It's definitely safety first. This I got from local paint store, 3M. It's about 30 bucks, replaceable filter. So it's probably the best bang for your buck, especially when you're doing this type of body work, when you have multiple dings and dents here. So make sure you have your respirator, guys. that's pretty much it, guys. Just finished up sanding down. Got the driver's side completely filled. A lot of dings and dents there, but hey, we got them taken care of. So driver's side wasn't too bad. It was really the passenger side that really gave us the most issues. As you guys can see there, we actually had a lot of high and low spots. Bunch of the high spots there, you guys can see those. But we were able to tap those down with a hammer. But that's pretty much it. I had some tough areas to tackle, especially under that mirror there. I didn't realize that there's actually a hard body line that actually comes through the door here. It's not really too visible just because of the shape of the car. It's really curvy, but you do have a hard line in the door there that I actually had to make some magic happen. But got it taken care of, and this is just step one of pretty much getting the body work done. Is just filling all the dings and dents before we go ahead and shoot to a primer. So stay tuned for that. So that's going to be a wrap for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed our content. As I mentioned, this is only part 1 of 2 of getting the body prepped for paint. So we will be definitely having more content for our RX-7 build. And just a quick update on how everything else is coming along. Some good news. Finally got all the rest of the trim in. We won't be installing that until we do get the body restored and fully painted, which we are a little bit ways away from that. But it is good news. And also some news on the 13B rebuild. We also did receive some things here at the shop, which I'm very excited about, so I will be revealing that to you guys very soon. And as always, if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button below. Give our content thumbs up. Brian with Briggs Motorsports. I'll see you guys next week.